Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Albert. I'm at Hospital for Special Surgery. I'm Surgeon-in-Chief Emeritus here and a Professor of Orthopedic Surgery at Weill Cornell Medical School. I've been in the AOA for over 25 years. I've served as Chair of the Development Committee. I've served on the Nominating Committee, and I'm in the 1887 Society and have remained on the Development Committee and been on the board previously, as well as on the Nominating Committee of the AOA. I'm very proud to be seeing the culmination of Philip Wilson Jr. becoming a pillar of orthopedics. As I saw pillars being made by many, many great orthopedic surgeons, I thought HSS, as a bellwether orthopedic institution in the United States and the world, should have a pillar. And as we spoke about it, I thought there was no one better than Philip Wilson Jr. to represent our institution, and actually all of orthopedics, as a pillar. Dr. Wilson was 94 years old when I came to HSS as the 12th Surgeon-in-Chief in 2014. Dr. Wilson himself was the 8th Surgeon-in-Chief, and his father before that, Philip Wilson Sr., was the 5th Surgeon-in-Chief to HSS. So you could say he had orthopedics in his blood. But Phil Wilson transformed HSS from an excellent hospital with good surgical results to a world-renowned institution. And he did it through his concern for amazing patient care, education, and research. He was the Surgeon-in-Chief that brought biomechanics to this hospital, which led to the creation of one of the early and excellent total knee replacements that are still used today. He also, while he was Surgeon-in-Chief, served as director of the residency and educated many, many world-famous orthopedic surgeons of today through his mentorship in the meticulous approach to surgery, but also the meticulous aftercare of those patients that we operated on. And I got to know Phil for too short a time, but he was amazing to me. When I came as Surgeon-in-Chief, I used to go to his apartment and also see him at our grand rounds, which he showed up to fairly religiously, even at age over 90 years old, which I was so impressed by and thought it really was a tribute to the man and what he said, that HSS was his life, and indeed it was. So I know others will speak of his mentorship and his educational abilities, but I can tell you that there's no one that has done more for orthopedics than Phil Wilson through the hundreds of residents and fellows he's trained, but also the thousands and millions of patients that those he's trained have also touched. So I'm so proud that we've been able to raise this pillar through HSS and my teammates here, and I'm also really, really happy to have Philip Wilson Jr. representing us as a pillar in orthopedics.
I'm Doug Padgett from the Hospital for Special Surgery. I'm currently the Associate Surgeon-in-Chief and have been at HSS for almost 30 years. I have had the good fortune of knowing Dr. Wilson, or having known Dr. Wilson for probably close to almost 40 years. I had the good fortune of meeting Dr. Wilson back in the mid-1980s during my application for residency, and I was fortunate enough to secure a position here as a resident in training with Dr. Wilson. It was during that period of time that I got to see firsthand the remarkable capabilities of Dr. Wilson as a leader, both from an institutional standpoint as well as being a role model for me personally. He stoked my interest in the field of hip surgery, was instrumental in helping me secure a fellowship with another giant in the field of orthopedics, Dr. Jorge Galante in Chicago. And then coming full circle, it was Dr. Wilson who actually recruited me to come back to HSS in the mid-1990s. And I've been here ever since. Dr. Wilson was certainly a mentor to me. Again, he was wonderful thought leader as it relates to the field of hip surgery, but many of the other qualities that I saw in terms of his leadership capability, shepherding just an institution that was filled with outstanding clinicians and scientists, and really moving things forward as it related to improving clinical care and research, all, I think, improving the quality of life for just thousands of patients that have come through HSS. I think Dr. Wilson would certainly be recognized as a pillar of the orthopedic community based upon many of the leadership roles that he has had and had during his career. As president of the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, as surgeon-in-chief at the Hospital for Special Surgery, recognizing the importance of research and coming up with translational research to take what we would learn from the benchtop to its applications in the bedside, was something that is a spirit and a concept that we truly embrace currently at HSS, and for that, I think he laid the foundation for what continues to be an ever-expanding enterprise here at HSS. I think in closing, it's important for perhaps younger orthopedic surgeons that didn't have the opportunity to interact with Dr. Wilson to recognize the importance of having role models in our profession. It's something that you don't necessarily need to emulate everything that they do, but they can be inspirational in terms of what one hopes to achieve, and hopefully you can lay the foundation for the future leaders that'll come after you.
Thomas Skolko, Surgeon-in-Chief Emeritus at the Hospital for Special Surgery, a member of the AOA for many, many years, and devoted to its mission. So Dr. Wilson means a great deal to me personally and my career. He hired me as a resident. That was the first time I met Dr. Wilson, and then ultimately hired me as a member of the faculty, which was a great honor, and which really was the beginning of my career in orthopedic surgery. As a resident, I got to work with him on many cases and was always impressed by his surgical skill, but as importantly, the way he would approach a patient. Every case was looked at in great thoroughness, and he looked oftentimes at the biomechanical principles of what he was trying to accomplish. And that's something that we all learned from him as residents. He was very thorough, very fair, a great leader at HSS, and a mentor to all of us. For me personally, taught me a lot about orthopedic surgery, taught me how to approach a patient, taught me how to think analytically and in a thorough manner, taught me how to care for patients, which was a really important thing. He was instrumental in my training in dealing with complex problems. He always looked at things in a very thorough and a very scientific manner, came up with the best solution, planned his surgery extremely well, and executed his plan like no other surgeon that I had worked with. Yeah, Dr. Wilson was one of the great leaders in orthopedic surgery in the United States and internationally. He was responsible for a great many things here at HSS, and something that really transcended HSS, went out internationally. He developed the concept of subspecialization in orthopedic surgery. Before Dr. Wilson, we would do general orthopedics. Everybody would be trained and operate on many different areas in orthopedic surgery. Dr. Wilson really was the first one to create specialty clinics dedicated to the hip, dedicated to the knee, dedicated to sports medicine, dedicated to the hand or foot and ankle. And he started that whole concept of subspecialization, which then I think went across the country and across the world, and which still is the way many of us are trained today and the way we specialize in our care of patients. So I give him a lot of credit for doing that. The other thing Dr. Wilson did, I think again that made huge international impact, was that he respected and really saw the importance of working closely with other disciplines. So I think Dr. Wilson is and was a pillar in orthopedic surgery, because I think more than most other leaders in orthopedic surgery, he was an expert in many different areas. Great teacher, great innovator, great surgeon, and a great leader. And certainly those of us early in our career benefited from these different aspects of his leadership ability and his mentorship. And I think he ultimately became president of the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons. I think his influence there, as well as influence in the Orthopedic Research and Educational Foundation, really had an impact on orthopedic surgery in a more general way, both in the United States and abroad. He was a very open thinker, very much felt the importance of us working globally and not just in fiefdoms limited to the orthopedic department we worked in. He really had a vision for orthopedic surgery globally. And that again, I think reinforces why he's so important in orthopedic surgery and why he should be recognized as one of the greats in orthopedic surgery.